This past week provided the opportunity to become more proficient in preparing students for a summative assessment on the 3-week-long genetics unit. I decided that we would spend 3 class periods preparing for this unit test. My approach started with a notebook check whereby during the first period of review students organized their notebooks to ensure that they had every formative assessment and assignment. After posting a PowerPoint slide on the board of the list of every item they should be able to produce, I went to every student, in pairs, rewarding each with 10 points for showing me that they did indeed have all of the material. As I checked their notebooks, I reinforced the importance of reviewing the material for the unit test, and was very clear in pointing out that the test questions would be based on that material. The evening before the second period for our review, I looked over the unit test that I had prepared from the textbook test bank to make sure that the summative assessment was aligned to the content that had been covered by formative assessments and assignments. I then loaded 45 of the 90 true/false and multiple choice questions into the interactive game, Quizdom, which we then used the next day. Each student was given a pre-assigned remote controller to use to play the baseball game option. Students received instant feedback on their remotes as to whether they answered the questions correctly when they record their answers. The correct answers are provided after the pitch is thrown. Runs and outs are scored based upon the correct number of answers from the odd-numbered, the Yankees, versus even-numbered controllers, the Orioles. Students left the second period with a very good sense of that proficiency in what areas they needed to study. Quizdom records all of the students' individual responses for each question, which provided me instant feedback on their preparedness for the unit test. That evening I modified the unit test by eliminating questions that were duplicative of the content to shorten the test to 76 questions. I also removed questions that the majority of students answered incorrectly as an indication that the content had perhaps not been appropriately covered. The third and final review period was dedicated to independent study. Students were given the opportunity to review the materials in their notebooks and to complete the chapter assessment questions either in class or as homework for extra credit. During the period, students asked for assistance on areas where they were struggling. Most students took advantage of the opportunity to complete the chapter questions for extra credit. A major summative test can be stressful for both students and the teacher. I believe that the in-class preparation time, the use of Quizdom and modifications to the final version of the unit test resulted in a fair and appropriate assessment of the unit. All but 3 of the 36 students were able to finish the test within the allotted time. The grading is not yet completed, but as I told the students, I believed they were prepared to take this test and expect that they did well. I expect to be able to self-assess my abilities to effectively provide a unit review and to align such summative assessments to the content based on the students' performances.